Busch Gardens, how's everyone doing this afternoon? I like that a whole lot better. Hello, my name's JP. Everyone say hi, JP.
Hi, JP.
Hello, hello, hello. I always like to learn everyone else's name. So at the count of three, I want you to scream your name at the top of your lungs. 1, 2, 3. Banana? Is that what I heard? I think I heard Brad over here somewhere. Well, hello everyone. We are so happy to have all of you with us for this exclusive look behind the scenes of Howl-O-Scream. Everyone had a good time at the house, the circus house, right? Pretty cool to see all that. The lights on, right? It's still creepy as heck. But I'm so glad you are with us today. We've got a very special presentation, but I cannot do it alone. So I would like to please welcome to the stage at this time with that big, loud, thunderous applause one more time, our lovely panel. Panelists, can you please come on out here? I will introduce them to you, but they are the masterminds behind Howl-O-Scream. Hello, hello, everyone. Go ahead and take your seats. From left to right here, first up, we have our lead head costume designer. We've got Lauren, everybody. Lauren's behind all the costumes here. Lauren, tell us a little bit about what you do for Howl-O-Scream. I know I said costumes, but there's so much more that goes into it, I'm sure.
Sure, of course. I'm Lauren Bracewell. I'm costume supervisor, costume production manager, costume designer for everything HOS and everything between. And I lead a great collaborative team that take images and pencil drawings and turn them into things like this you see behind me.
Perfect. Next up, we've got Christine. Christine is our VP of Entertainment. Round of applause for Christine. Christine, tell us more about what you do here at Busch Gardens.
Good afternoon, everybody. It is really great to see how many people came to this. This is really our first time doing this, so super, super happy to see all your faces. Yes, my name is Christine Morgan. I've probably met some of you before. Whether you've liked entertainment or not liked entertainment in the park, I've probably been responsible for part of that about the last 30 years. That's how long I've worked here. So we're anxious, as always, to get feedback on what we can do better. I know we'll have some Q&A today, so I'm really looking forward to being able to answer some of your questions related to this event. And again, thanks for being here.
Next up, we have our entertainment specialist, Brad. Brad, welcome to the stage. Tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do here at Busch Gardens.
I'm Brad. I am one of the designers on our entertainment team. I specifically work on Halloween pretty much year-round, mainly concentrating on houses. So all of the houses you see this year were designed by me. Except for residents, I did the holiday overlay, so it's the only one left. So yeah, that's what I do. Halloween, pretty much.
Thank you, Brad. Thank you, thank you. We've got Chloe up here as well. Chloe is our entertainment show manager. Chloe, you do so much more than just that, though. Tell us what you do. How long have you been here?
Hi, everyone. I am Chloe Amore. I have been working with Howl-O-Scream for this is my 8th one, so I've been here for the last 7 years. I am the project manager, production manager for the event, so I work with Brad and all of our other folks that work on Howl-O-Scream year-round to make sure that everything gets installed in the time frame that we need, work on casting all of the performers who work the event, and just work on all of the things to help make this event happen.
Awesome. Over here, in a trip hazard, we've got Jessie. Jessie is one of our makeup designers here at Busch Gardens. Jessie, tell us a little more about what you do.
Thank you. Hello, this is my 18th Howl-O-Scream, and I have been able to be on the other side as a performer, and now I get to do the makeup.
Thank you, thank you. And last but certainly not least, we've got Danny. Danny's one of our show managers here at the park as well. Danny, how long have you been here, and tell us more about what you do?
I've been here about 11 years now, and I'm over all shows, essentially. So not so much HOS exclusive, but definitely Cirque Extreme. So I've just been part of the shows the entire time.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, our panelists are all great. We are going to kick things off first with my friend Lauren here. Lauren, you've brought us a beautiful show and tell item that we are going to let you take the floor and tell us a little more about what you got going on here.
Sure. Thank you, JP. What we have going on here are images that were put together by Brad for Witch of the Woods, which was our new house a couple years ago. And then these are images that I put together for our minions and then for the witch herself. And then you can see here the physicalization of the costume as we put it together in a costume shop here at Entertainment in Busch Gardens. And this was actually the costume that was worn in the ad campaign and commercial that was put out there for everyone to see. And this is just one example of the collaborative effort that goes through all the ideas that these people put together, that then I bring forth to my team, and they put together to make things even more three-dimensional, if you will, and the mood of each house and effective for each scare involved. And we try to analyze per what is the look. Like this is obviously very rough hewn. If it is like, Residence this year, it's very Christmas oriented, of course. And of course we have our new circus house that I think you people went through, friends went through today. That is your circus flair of a 1950s look, not today, but somewhere in the past. So we try to represent per what is the most and the most effective for each house involved. Like I said, this is an example of what was used in the commercial. What was in the house was not quite as detailed as this, but it was the same kind of effect we used for this. We did use these masks that you see right there, which were similar to kind of these, were in the house itself, and what were the minion characters in Witch of the Woods. Oh, sure, thank you. Thank you, Christine. She kind of, thank you, Christine.
Try not to break it.
There you go.
There's the side of the house
There,
you can see.
there, your friends. You can see more of the ideas of what we used for that going forward. And it's fairly three-dimensional as well for this too. And this person also was body tattooed with trees and roots and things involved for that. This was a similar makeup design in the house, not as complicated. They had white out contacts as well as fangs and a very white black wig that were involved to make this look complete. So it's a lot of different aspects, a lot of different people that get together to make something happen. So as they say, it takes a village here, it takes a small metropolis to make it work. And a group of people that without them, it would just be drawings on paper. So this is what we do, and like I said, thank you, Brad, for the inspiration at the time, because I think it worked out for the best.
Lauren, I think people might be curious on how many costume pieces are in Howl-O-Scream.
Howl-O-Scream, there were about 2,750 costume pieces. And that is all from hats, what's on the body, even like some shoes, some different, different mask units, this sort of thing. That's very sundry things per house. And that's also, still costumes as well as specialty items, the slider gear, that sort of thing. So everything is very loaded into that realm. You try to sometimes hopefully make it a little simpler, but sometimes they need a lot. There's also safety gear involved, and that becomes a part of the costume as well as what they have on for the scare itself. So it's a pretty large number of things to make that happen too. So, thank you.
One interesting thing, and I'm sure you probably will have other questions about costumes, but getting the costumes laundered every week is an amazing feat as well. So we can't wash them all here, so we do use a local coin laundry service to take these costumes off property, get them all clean, and get them back for the next weekend. So there's just many layers involved in costuming. Maybe JP, you want to see if there's any costuming-related questions from the audience?
Yes, do we have any in the audience? Victor is coming around with a microphone. My friend Victor, way up there. We have one in the back. Yeah.
Perfect. What's your question?
Nice and loud, Victor.
All right, so the question is, are the costumes tailored specifically to the actors?
Yes, each costume is, if it's brand new, it is completely redone for that person every year. I mean, for a new person every year. Sometimes it's done from absolutely nothing. Sometimes we take existing pieces and reimagine them, if you will, and make it fit for that person. So each year it's very much theirs, labeled with their name, obviously, and ready to go.
Nice.
Thank you.
We'll have a chance for more questions in a second. I want to introduce Jesse real quick. Jesse on the other side of the stage. Thank you, Lauren, for that amazing detail. So cool. So much that goes into that. Jesse is going to do a demonstration for you all as well as we're answering some more questions. That's why I want to get this started, because I know you've got Danny's face is very beautiful, but it's about to get even more beautiful here in just a second. Jesse, tell us what you're going to do to Danny while we have our Q&A happen.
Hello. So I'm going to turn Danny's head, his little face here, into a zombie. This is what we use when we do makeup on our actors. A certain group of actors come to us, myself and my team, and we use airbrush guns with compressors, and we have special paint that we use, and a whole bunch of other stuff here, stencils, brushes. Sometimes we actually will hand brush a lot of stuff on the actors. So you're gonna see me do a little version of a zombie on Danny's face.
All right, we're gonna check in on you every couple of questions. Is that okay? Okay, I cannot wait to see what Danny's face looks like at the end of this. All right, yes, we are going to take some questions. This is your chance to ask the masterminds behind Howl-O-Scream exactly what you want to know. Again, Victor's going to be coming around. I'll give you all a second to think about what question you want to have. A few days ago, we asked on our Instagram if you had any questions. So I'm going to get through a few of these first while you're thinking, but we will come out to the audience and ask some of them as well. Chris Plastic is calling me right now. You would think he would know. We are in this Q&A. Here we go. All right. First question, again, whoever wants to take this, you guys are more than welcome. Can we have fewer repeated houses year over year? Fewer repeated houses.
I'll take that one. So, yeah, I mean, I think probably all of us would love to have more house flips. Just getting one design, one built, one installed on time, and the financial investment is pretty huge. We are very passionate about Howl-O-Scream. We're very passionate about Howl-O-Scream growing. So that is definitely top of mind if we can do more of that. So just know, I think we're all on the same page with that.
There we go. Side question for me, how much, and it can be approximate, how much financially does it cost to build a house? Millions? Billions?
It really depends on the house. It can be quite high.
Quite high, okay. What's
I
that?
have very expensive taste.
Brad has very expensive taste. All right, next question. When is 50-50 coming back?
That's a great question. So 50-50, that was so much fun. That was, so very interestingly enough, one of the questions we might get to later is just about, you know, the themes of the campaigns, because sometimes it's very focused on specific characters. So not that far in advance of Howl-O-Scream last year, we received from corporate marketing the 50-50 guide. You guys remember that from the commercial? Yeah. So we got that. It was actually DNA we had put out before the pandemic. So this character had lived in the past and just hadn't been used for anything. So they chose that was going to be the face of Howl-O-Scream, and then we very quickly reacted, well, okay, how can we bring this image you're going to see for the commercial into the park to make it all make sense? So very, very quickly, internally, we came up with the show 50-50. That's definitely connected to last year's campaign, so it's not, I don't expect that show to necessarily come back, but what may come back, you know, we're celebrating our 25th anniversary next year, so there might be a way to incorporate that 50-50 character as well as some of our other iconic characters into the event next year.
Very nice. Let's check in with Jesse real quick. Danny, how you doing? So good. Can we shine the light on Danny? What? Oh my gosh, already. What is the stencils that you're using? Like, how do you decide what to use where? And
It's our zombie flesh stencil. It's just some funky little patterns of a bunch of holes that once you layer it over and over with different colors of that rot color, you start to get the texture of the zombie flesh.
who designed that?
That would actually be Morgan Malice from M6FX, who we use also with makeup. We team up together.
Very nice. All right, we'll come back to you, Danny. Come back. Another question that we had pre-submitted to us, why, this kind of goes maybe with the question that you just answered, Christine. Why in recent years have we shied away from an overall theme to Howl-O-Scream?
SeaWorld Parks and Entertainment is a very, very big company, and I know many of you know that Howl-O-Scream has now expanded beyond just Busch Gardens Tampa and Busch Gardens Williamsburg. A lot of our other parks now do Howl-O-Scream. So for a while we were the Howl-O-Scream people with our own separate commercial campaign, and I think what's changed probably just a little bit is, you know, now we're all part of Howl-O-Scream, so I think just from a marketing perspective, there's been a different approach to it, a little bit more of a global campaign instead of park specific, but that's not to say that that park specific might not come back in the future.
Perfect. Let's turn to the audience for a few questions. I'm going to make Victor do his calisthenics up and down the steps. Does anyone have a question? We have one in the back. Over here, Victor, all the way. Stage right, house left. Yes, you in the back row. Potpourri, I love it. Let's do it. Tell Victor your question and he will relay it to us. There's a lot of hand motions.
Absolutely, it's a great question. So the question is, what is the thought process or kind of the conceptualization that goes into the evolution of the haunted houses? One of the great examples was the Forgotten. So this year it's got the Uprising theme. What goes into that?
I guess that's me.
That's you.
So we try to keep the houses fresh and interesting. Sometimes they hold their own, like a Stranglewood holds its own. Beautiful house. Forgotten also holds its own, but it also kind of lends itself to furthering the storyline. So the idea this year is the beginning of the big fight back from the humans versus the vampires. So you don't see them very far through the house. It's kind of the first half. So next year, the plan is for the big battle. So vampire, human, who's going to be the winner? That's where we're going with that storyline, just to keep that fresh and interesting and have people coming back to see it again. So yeah, we tried to do that just to keep things interesting on our end because we see it every year. So yeah, it's just making it better every year, making it fun.
I like it. I like it. I think we had another one up there. Hand raised right there, Victor. The suspense is killing me.
We have another great question. So she is asking, what type of experience or education or background do you need to kind of put on an event or be involved in the operation?
I think we could probably all speak to our own individual backgrounds just really, really quickly. But I'll say, before we all do that, I'll say, much like any job you start, you learn a lot once you're there. I think every company is unique. So if this is something you're interested in, whether or not your background necessarily matches anything that we say, I would suggest just always going to buschgardens.com and seeing what we might have open and available and what's interesting to you. But I'll just start with me first. So my background, I have a Bachelor of Fine Arts degree in dance, and just went to, basically my whole life is, I grew up in a very, very small town without a lot to do. That's the short story. So I got involved in the arts and it became a huge passion for me very young. And so that's basically, what I chose to do for my career. I ended up here at Busch Gardens 30 years ago, this year in May. My choices were to work here or go on a cruise ship. I chose here and it changed my whole life. So I just say, pursue what you're passionate about.
Lauren?
For myself, I have a background in performance and costume design, obviously. And with that goes also a tremendous amount of creativity beyond just what you see here. It's also, hatwear, maker design with that, backpacks, all sorts of things. The biggest thing is to work collaboratively, meaning with a team of people, because it's not just one thing, it's a lot of things. And not be afraid to give ideas that other people are going to use and nurture those along to make the whole process a one-day great experience, because usually there's no I in the chorus and there's no I on the screen. So it's all about the event. So it's sharing things with everybody and collaborative effort.
Brad?
I have a degree in production design. So basically theater design, which kind of translates to what I do, but I think I always had a passion for Halloween stuff, and it kind of grew into haunted houses. So it's just finding a route to use that, and I have my degree as a background for just general design. But as far as getting into doing something like this, if you have the passion for it, just keep going, find a way in, and you can literally move up to where I am or where Christine is or Lauren or Chloe. You can get anywhere. Just be passionate about what it is. Just keep going for it. That's what I did. I'm here. So.
Chloe?
Yeah, so I have a background in the arts. I got into dance and performance when I was a toddler. I have a Bachelor of Fine Arts in dance as well. I joke around that I sort of fell into stage management. I dealt with some pretty serious injuries while in my college career, and I worked in the production department as much as I worked in the dance department at my school. So that is how I got into stage management and production management. I started working here, and all of that helped translate into managing Halloween, and I've been able to grow here and work with really fabulous people on this event and just kind of grow my experience in the specific haunt industry from my background in the arts.
Jesse, what's your background in?
I actually was a performer. I was a singer dancer here, and I also danced on cruise ships and went to USF as well.
So singer, performer, cruise shipper. I love
That was
it.
it. So I had a bunch of babies, and the upper staff was kind enough to give me a chance so I could learn more, and then I became the makeup designer.
Pretty cool. And shameless plug, I don't know if any of you watched The First Drop. The First Drop is our web series hosted by myself and Shania, our social media manager, but we actually talked with Brad on this last month's episode, and he goes very deep into his background and how he got to the role that he's in today, and a lot more about what he does. So if you haven't seen that yet, make sure you watch The First Drop. Let's grab another one that was pre-submitted. We touched on this briefly, but I'm sure we can go into way more detail. Next year, the 25th anniversary of Howl-O-Scream, right? Guys, what can we expect? What secrets can you share? What can you tell us a year in advance?
This is very difficult. You know, we have so many Halloween competitors now. And if you live in Tampa, you know that. I think Howl-O-Scream kind of used to be the big fish in a small pond. Now we're a huge pond with lots of fish everywhere. You know, we've got Screamageddon. We always have all of our friends down Orlando way. So I think to a degree, I have to sort of keep some of those things inside today, unfortunately. But listen, if you're a Howl-O-Scream fan, you know that we have created so many wonderful characters over the past 25 years. Definitely our focus would be, you know, how can we weave them in? What can we do next year so that that can come back to life? Because we truly are wanting to celebrate all of Howl-O-Scream.
Anyone else want to add anything?
Yeah, I mean, we're all huge fans of Howl-O-Scream, and we definitely want to do well by all the fans outside of us. So personally, I am looking back at everything that we've ever done, trying to pull little bits of things like that, just so you guys get to see all that. If you don't know the history of Howl-O-Scream, next year will be a good year to kind of see all of those things that we've done and how far we've come from year one to now. So, no details.
Sure, thank you. I may say, myself, I've been involved in this event since before it was an event, and being the person who's in the costumes, we do have all those outfits and things, so things will be happening, you know. It's really kind of exciting to see those things come back to life, too, so.
Chloe, anything from your side?
I mean, we're all very excited for the anniversary year next year. I know we have a lot of things in the works on our side right now. You'll certainly see some favorite things coming back to life next year, but when, where, and exactly how, you'll just have to wait to see.
All right, I feel like we got a little bit out of it. I'm sure more will be revealed in due time. Anyone else from the audience before I ask another one? We have one way up here. We have a little one right here. Let's see this right here. And the red question? Yeah, you can ask it.
So I think the question is related to performers and their placements. Do the performers get switched up in their placements every year, or do repeat performers kind of go back to where they are in the event?
Yeah, I can take that one. So each year is obviously a little bit different. So just because someone has worked with the event before does not mean that the role that they worked, it still exists going into the next year. And I know a lot of folks that come every year to perform with us. I know a lot of folks enjoy trying new things and keeping it fresh and fun for them as well. So it really depends on what venues are going to be part of the event that year and if someone's really interested in doing something new.
Awesome. I think we had one right in here-ishness, a couple here, and then we'll work our way back over this way. I got you up there. just a little bit, not much of it. That's something.
So, first and foremost, there's a big shout out to the technical crew that works behind the scenes and makes feedback happen. So definitely a round of applause to them.
That's really nice, thank you.
And then the second half of the question is, are we going to see the resurrection of any fan favorites from years past, specifically in this instance in this piece?
Or 8 houses, 8 houses.
So you want 8 houses in Fiends?
Yes.
Okay, I got it. So yes, I'm glad you brought that up with Fiends. Fiends is an interesting story. It's a big history of mine. I've been involved, I think, in definitely at least like all of them, except
And it was
for
the entire
very first
second
year.
page. It was the entire second page of question.
Yes. No, it's okay. So in the last, definitely in the last couple of years, we have gotten a little bit of mixed feedback on that show. Mixed feedback from past members, mixed feedback from guests that aren't past members. And so this year we definitely thought, okay, let's try something new. You may remember last year we said, come one last time to say goodbye to Bayou and Fiends. So we definitely tried to put it out there, please come enjoy Fiends one last time last year. Clearly a lot of people expected it to come back this year, so I don't know if we weren't taken seriously or people might not have gotten that message. So all in all, as you can tell, we did bring Fiends back this year. I'm not quite sure what the future holds for Fiends. I think it's just important that you know that we also like that show. And we were truly just listening to guest feedback when we chose what we did. So we will see what time holds. That show is iconic, just like things in our last 25 years. So we will see, maybe there is a possibility to incorporate it or incorporate some of the characters in some way next year. I don't know if the whole show will be back. We will see.
We'll see. I like it. Jesse, give us an update here.
So Danny is now officially zombified. This is just to show you a light version of what we can do. We normally take about a half an hour to 45 minutes on the actors that we do, and it's a full body application depending on the costume that they receive from the costume shop.
So from year to year and night to night, there's always repairs. Usually in the down season, we don't touch the houses a lot, so they kind of sit dormant. But ramping up into the next year, we will go in and start repairing everything that we can find that's broken or missing. First part of the question?
What's the typical lifespan of a house?
Right now, since we have 5 houses, we're rotating 5. Some of them stay longer, depends on how popular they are.
A lot of that depends on the feedback from guests. I mean, sometimes there's a house that's beloved and nobody really wants it to go. So everything plays into the factor of when we decide to change out a house or not.
It's when you get like a bayou that's been here forever or a zombie mortuary that was here forever. So if it's a fan favorite, it's going to stick around.
How long will those chicken wings last in the residence, specifically? Anyway. All right, let's go back to the audience. I think we have a question right here. Ciao. Victor is coming your way to make your day.
So the question is, have we ever considered doing a haunted train? If I'm not mistaken, that is the question.
Maybe like a destination haunt where you can only get by train?
Ooh.
I'll take that. So yes, we have thought about that. I think we even ran a train during Halloween in the past. Most of you know we are also a very large zoo, right? And the train goes out into animal exhibits, and not all of our animals go in at night. A lot of them actually have a choice on where they want to spend the night. And I think just for their safety, Halloween is a very fun and festive event. Potentially somebody could get carried away. And for animal safety and guest safety, I think that's why the train isn't really in rotation right now as a Halloween element. I hope that was helpful. We can all agree, I think that would be cool.
That'd be really cool. All right, we have one here in the middle, Victor.
Skyride come back, have some of the cars be.
Watch your knees, watch your popcorn. Victor's coming down the aisle.
Where like you're going by, one of those just got like creatures. Oh, just gonna go past you. Like that.
is what goes into storing and kind of maintaining the props? So costumes, masks, the houses, what kind of maintenance goes in year-round?
Well, as Christine said, for stores of costuming, everything's clean first, very much so. It is an inventory, folded up very neatly, and we pack in all these boxes in an area that looks very much like things of Raiders of the Lost Ark, and everything goes into these different hampers and things. And then the same thing with headpieces and masks and things as well. They're stored, inventoried, labeled, and then they're ready to get in about 9 months.
We have warehouse space. I'll just say that.
Yes, ma'am.
A lot of warehouse devoted to Howl-O-Scream costumes.
I saw another hand. We got one there.
What about the decoration props?
Decoration props.
As far as houses go, we're very fortunate to have permanent buildings for all of them, so we can seal the doors, keep everything pretty safe for the year. Scare zone stuff currently is stored in a closed-in area. We don't really do much with that. We take it down, pat it as much as we can, and it just sits there until next year when we pull it out to start to change it or paint it or fix it. But everything pretty much just gets packaged, closed off for the year until when we normally start.
Anywhere between March and July is when we start pulling stuff out.
And some things don't last more than a year. It just depends on how they're built, where they're located. So every year there are some things that we discard. Every year there are things that we build brand new.
Which house was the most challenging to set up this year and why?
Circus, because it's the new one.
I knew you would say that.
Definitely the hardest this year because it's starting from scratch. So a big empty building needs a whole new building, new house inside of it. Lighting, audio, props, everything. So that's always the biggest challenge. If we do a new layover, it's challenging. It's definitely not as bad as doing a new house. So it has its own kind of set of things. Overall, the current houses, Stranglewood was probably the hardest one to put in. Because if you know, it's in the old Akbar building. So it has lots of different sized rooms that it's in. So fitting that around that whole ride, queue, and all that stuff was probably the most difficult. And it has a lot of tech in it. I don't know if you've seen the flight rig. We got that up and running for this year. Super cool. So there's a lot of cool stuff in there. And that brings its own set of horrible challenges.
I want to pause just right here, because I really want to publicly thank Brad for all of his work in Circus this year. If you went to the house before you came here, there were more lights on, so you probably noticed more detail than perhaps when you experienced it as a guest, if you've already experienced it as a guest at night. So a lot of those little unique things that make it feel like a real place and time in a circus, that's Brad's creativity and time and effort.
And another shameless plug, the first drop, we talk a lot about Brad's design on circus and just houses in general and how all those concepts come to be. I think that's somebody over here. Perfect.
So another great question. Do any of our haunted houses have Easter eggs to prior years of Howl-O-Scream or any kind of tributes to past things that guests may have seen?
Yes. The biggest location of Easter eggs is obviously Junkyard. There's a lot of throwback stuff from pre-existing houses and zones all over that place. That started in 2020 when we did just Scare Zones. I built that the first year, threw in as much as I could find, and since then, we've just been adding more and more and more. So every time you go through, you'll see something new. As far as all the houses, I do try to hide little things that I found along the way. I'll hide my initials in there just for fun. So they're a little more difficult to find, but they are in there. But yeah, I love Easter eggs. I think it's great. Even things that nobody will ever notice. Like if you look in Circus, when you're walking up to the big freak show tent, if you make a hard left look back, like in the backstage area, you'll see a lady that's just sitting there, just on a break.
There is on.
You won't ever notice it unless you just look super far back, but she's there.
Just for fun. Over there. Yeah.
I love it, I love it. What else we have? We have one down here, Victor.
So the question is, this particular guest had gone to SeaWorld's Howl-O-Scream event, and they noticed that one of their bars had a comedy overlay. Are there any plans to introduce a similar concept to our event, or something similar for the future?
Sorry, what kind of overlay?
A comedy overlay.
It's the longshoreman.
Specifically the longshoreman Tampa Bay.
Well, I will have to go visit. I would see. I was there last year. I don't remember that. That must be new. I'll go check it out. Okay. Obviously, you thought it was really cool.
Oh yeah.
It's really cool. They make jokes like the whole time, and they have little performances like throughout the night. So like guests just hang out and buy drinks and food and stuff like that. And they interact with the guests. It's really fun.
Thank you for sharing. That's really, really great.
We had one right behind Victor. Right behind you.
So there was a house years ago. I think it was later in the walls movie. We executive have they thought about bringing that back, and how hard is it to do that?
So the question is, many years ago, and I believe this is in reference to the Alone Haunted House, where you had to sign a waiver to participate. Is there anything in the works for the future to reintroduce a similar concept to that?
Yeah. You're talking about like Alone or the experiment, something like that? I think we would love to. I think it's a conversation amongst us going forward just to see if that's something that we want to get back into. Alone was its own awesome experience. It was a huge house.
Yeah, I also asked how hard was it to make that and put it together? Because like I would get separated from my friends because walls moved, and I'm like, where did that come from?
Yeah, that was before my time in this job. I worked here as a tech, so I walked through it. I think being able to go alone or with a tiny group, they can control that a lot more and separate people off. So you just need the space, and right now we don't have the space. We've filled every building we have with haunted houses. So it's just us looking at like, do we want to go back into that? And do we have the space to do that? The time and the people and all the things. But it's definitely a very cool, unique experience that nobody else really did. So yeah.
Be cool. Christine, we're going to do some rapid fire questions, and I just want to be able to say that we accomplished them. Some of them might be very obvious answers, but we're going to go through it. Is Falcon's Fury open during Howl-O-Scream?
Yes, Falcon's Fury is open.
I think that works.
Are there any big plans for 2024 for Busch Gardens?
Global large plans?
Just Busch Gardens
Well, hopefully
2024.
everybody heard the big announcement about Phoenix Rising in Pantopia. We're all really excited about that. So, definitely a new experience with the soundtrack in your car, definitely a different experience during the day and at night. So I think that's just going to be a wonderful new addition. And if you come to the park, we are definitely working on different things, restaurants, bathrooms, things like that. Those might not seem big to you, but they are all fairly big projects, and we actually have our park president here today. So you might, if you want to stop and ask him anything more specifics on Park Global. But our goal, the entire management team at this park and the company is to continue to refresh and give you new reasons to come and visit us. So that's, we are planning lots of things.
Are we going to be repainting Goomba?
That's on you.
At some point, I'm sure it'll be repainted, right? This is actually a good one. Some folks may not understand. Somebody was confused about park closing at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, Howl-O-Scream opening an hour later. How does that work?
Okay, so we do what's called a mix-in, which means that if you are a guest here in the park during the day and you have not bought a Howl-O-Scream ticket, you do need to leave at closing time. And I think that maybe the confusion, maybe a guest came on a day where we were posted to close at 5, but closing is really 6. Closing, to my knowledge, is 6 o'clock. And that's when our day guests have to leave, and our nighttime guests can come in before that for Howl-O-Scream. It's just that they're in the park between the hours of 6 and 7. They must have a wristband on that designates that they have bought a Howl-O-Scream ticket. I hope that answers that question, if the person who asked that is here today.
It made sense to me. Have you ever considered a 21 and over only Howl-O-Scream night?
I think, that certainly, we do say that our event is, intense. It's recommended for older kids, 13 and up. As far as taking that group and not allowing them to come, I don't know if we've really ever talked about it that much. I appreciate the question being posed. It's certainly something that we can think about. But we do kind of want Howl-O-Scream to be, for the most people that we think will enjoy it.
Awesome. We've got one here, Victor, then one at the top, the gentleman in the red shirt. I want to make sure you're two.
Right there.
All right, we'll get you.
Why would you go back up?
Because I like to make Victor walk.
So this is a really fun question. I've thought of this myself. Is there any plans to introduce a Halloween ice skating show seasonally that would take the place of Turn It Up in Phoenix?
Ooh, got an applause.
Well, we are actually working on some plans for that theater right now. I can't share them right now, but you will hear more about what's happening in that theater in the months to come. And yes, we have actually, we have thought about a Halloween ice show before, so it is something that is a possibility in the future.
Awesome. Victor, one at the top. And then we'll come right here. Yes. There's pointing, there's arrows.
So the question is, has there been any consideration to widen the paths or the guest walkways within the haunted houses so that ECVs or electric wheelchairs could be accommodated inside?
ECVs in the widening the paths of the houses.
We do adhere to the ADA requirements for pathways. So technically there should be enough room. I know some chairs require a little more space. We do have to follow those safety rules. So if there are places that seem tight, I'm sure you could bring that up to the people at the front gate, and they can relay that information to us, and then we can look at it. But as far as like the overall design and making sure that everybody has enough safe space, they are done from the very beginning. So.
Yeah, I think that when it is a motorized vehicle, perhaps if there's a malfunction with that vehicle and then there's a problem in the house and we have to evacuate the house, it could block evacuation of the house. So having a manual wheelchair with a real person that can push it is important.
Awesome. We had a couple right here. I have a few more on our paper. And then we have our special showing of Cirque Extreme for you guys. What do we have in here? Right here? Excellent.
Sure, so the question is in regards to our scare zones. This year it seems like the actors don't approach you as much as they did in previous years. Is there any reasoning behind that, or just a little bit about the scare zones?
Yeah, so safety is our first priority for both ambassadors who work the event as well as the guests attending it. So we do not allow performers to touch any of the guests attending the event. That is not a new policy. It's just so that everyone can have a fun and safe time. We do have specific policies in place with our performers and go through training and rehearsals to maintain a safe distance away from everyone. So that way, sometimes when people get scared, they might react, and we want to make sure that no one's accidentally bumping into anyone. So we're just really focused on safety and wanting a fun, scary time without any contact.
They never touched you, but they used to chase you around with the shovels and stuff, but they don't do that.
I'm sorry you have not been chased with a shovel this year. I have been chased many, many times. So all I can say is try again. Hopefully we'll chase you next time.
And Brad, bring back the motel haunted house. That was the best one.
You like the motel? Yeah, it was a great house.
I will say, I know for sure we do have some shovels as props in our shortcut scare zone, so take a trip through that one.
I feel like those chainsaws are always relentless. Like they just don't stop. Do we have one more here real quick?
So the question is, what happened to the spinning light tunnel that was in Deathwater Bay?
It's in Brad's house. No, I'm just kidding.
I'll take it home. Currently, we are not using it. So I like to give things a break sometimes, because I think people see the same thing over and over again and just put it to a different house. So I'm giving it a break.
The cup was empty.
There's currently one at SeaWorld Orlando. Looks eerily similar to ours, just saying. But there will be plans to use them in the future. Right now, they're just kind of chilling out a little bit.
All right, I have a few more pre-submitted. This might be a question for Lauren, for Jesse. How long does it take for scare actors to get ready?
That actually depends on the complexity of the costume and if they are in makeup, as you saw here today, which Jesse did. Our zombies and the veil, that takes a good 40 minutes. Those people get their prosthetics and face on. The costume part itself can take about 15 minutes to put on. So it depends on that degree. Within the houses themselves, it takes about a good 30 minutes to get ready for the performance.
We have two different types of performers for Howl-O-Scream. The most get a bag of makeup that I create for them with a makeup look. I teach them how to do it. They go on their way and they do it themselves. They start their shift at the venue. They have their costumes there, their makeup there. They stay there. I think they have about an hour or so to get everything together. Our other performers come up to the entertainment hall. They get their costumes there. They come to us in the graveyard where we paint them up, which takes, like we said, about 45 minutes. And then they go down to their venue.
Christine, maybe can a 14-year-old work as a scare actor? What age limit do we have on being a scare actor?
I'm so excited that somebody out there wants to be a scare actor. It's clear they really want to join. So 14 is a little too young to join. So typically most of our scare actors are 18 or older. We do offer, this year and the last year, we have offered a few positions up to some actors that are as young as 16. So you have to at least be 16. And I hope this person is here today and will apply in a couple years.
Yeah. All right, I've got one final question that I'm going to ask. Two questions, actually. We're going to go down the line. I want everyone to answer. First question is, what is your favorite scary movie?
Oh my.
I know.
I'll start. So I love all the classic slasher horror films, stuff like that, but I think my all-time favorite movie is Trick or Treat. Didn't really get a lot of notoriety for a super long time, nobody would pick it up, but I think it's got so many classic Halloween stories to it that it's a good combination of all those things and just like Halloween feeling, so that's one of my favorites.
I'll go next. So it's a tie between two out of all of the classic slasher sort of franchises. The Scream movies are my favorite slasher movies, but my favorite scary movie in general is the original Blair Witch Project because it's really subtly creepy and scary. So yeah, it's a tie between those two.
Mine would have to be the original Omen.
I think my very first scary movie I ever saw was the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which scared me so much that I just couldn't even watch scary movies. And then I got this job and I was forced into this crazy world. And so now I still really don't have a lot of courage to watch the scary things on TV. I get enough of it here at the park, so.
Down the line, you want to Scream? All right, you Scream. Saw. All right, I got one final question for all of you. This is my most favorite.
What's yours, JP?
Probably Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's right. Screams me out. My favorite question that got submitted on Instagram, and I told you guys I was going to ask it, and I think you thought I was kidding, but I just want a simple yes or no. In your opinion, your thought, do ghosts poop? The people want to know. Yes or no? You don't get to, well, maybe.
There's that book, right? Everybody poops, so I'm assuming yes.
Yes, I agree.
Laura? That's a good point. I'm going to have to agree. Yes.
Yes?
I don't think so.
No.
Danny? No? Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for our panel! Alright, if you were here at the start of the show, when you first came in, everyone got a raffle ticket. If you came in a little late, I apologize. You may not have a raffle ticket, but if it's okay with all of you, we are going to give away some Howl-O-Scream game tickets. Is that okay? So if you are our winning ticket number, just come on down here to the front of the stage. Victor's going to verify, then I'm going to give you some tickets.
The last four numbers would be 1623. Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry. 1625.
1625. Going once. 1625. Right there. Come on down. You are our next contestant on 50-50. All right. What's our next one here, Christine?
Our next number.
It's a pair of tickets.
1719.
1719, right here in the front. Come on down.
1606. 1606.
1606, right here. Come on down. Woo!
1667.
1667. We have that one right there. Wait, Christine, for this one, I want to make it extra special. This is my last pair of tickets. Got that one right there with Victor. For this last one you're about to read, how about I also happen to bring a couple of Frontline Fear Extreme passes. I knew that was going to get them. Here we go, final winner.
1699.
1699. Who we got? Right here. Congratulations. Oh my gosh, thank you all so much for coming. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time for my beautiful panel up here. Give a round of applause. We have a very special performance of Cirque Extreme coming up for you in just about 5 minutes, so hang around. And again, thank you so much for coming today. Enjoy the rest of your day at Busch Gardens Tampa Bay.
Thanks for being past